So this is the setup that I've been using for years and that I used in my college classes. I have these aluminum plates that I get made up, machined, and basically sell them to the students, as well as tech deck guys and customers and subscribers. So let me bring you in a little bit closer and kind of show you the cut, just so you get a good look. So that is the accuracy of the cut that we make. I've always been much more comfortable using a Bosch Colt router as opposed to a little Dremel tool, which is a 1/16 of a horsepower. The Bosch Colt is 1 horsepower. It cuts this slot perfectly, effortlessly, every time. I use these 2-footed clamps, so the rubber foot of the clamp pulls up against the edge of the side where the back meets the side, and on the top, underneath here, there's a piece of hockey puck, and then the head of that clamp swivels. Perfect clamping with 3 points of contact on that tapered side. Been using this method for years, and it has served myself and my students and customers for many years. So I know there's a lot of ways of doing this job, and this is the way that I do it. I actually do the math after the bridge is glued on and get perfect saddle placement every time for 100% intonation. So I'm ready now to pull this out of the jig. Just kind of loosen that off. There's the clamp. I'm going to bring you in at a different angle as I pull this off, and you'll kind of get a real good idea what I'm doing here. This is a plexiglass plate that I get machined, and it's a duplicate of the Bosch Colt router platform. I use that indexing pin to sort of trace the trajectory of the cut long before I flick the switch on the router. So it just drops in there. I do all my setup with this indexing plate, and then when I flick the switch on the router, we know exactly where we're going. These clamps act as a positive stop, beginning and end of cut. So let's take those off. I've been selling these to my students for the last 20 years. I'm no longer teaching at the college, I'm just teaching online now, but this is what we got underneath here. We have hockey pucks. These hockey pucks are actually exactly the same thickness, so this way you leave no marks on the top or the back. There's no danger of cracking anything because you're clamping at the intersection of the top and the sides where the kerfing is. And obviously you still have to be very careful about how much clamping pressure you put on. I'll bring you in a little closer yet, and you can have another look. This is our final cut. I still have to lightly sand the bridge out, but that is our slot. We're putting an LR Baggs Anthem SL in this. So here's a little trick I use to get the proper thickness on these saddles. So I've got a U-channel there, an aluminum U-channel, and a piece of 2-sided tape with some sandpaper. I've got a piece of Corian, a block of Corian. I hold that up against the disc sander. I have the sander on a foot switch, so it goes on and off with an air foot switch. So I push my Corian right up tight to the disc. So next I get my overall saddle length, leaving it just a little too long. Nip it off on the bandsaw. And then back to the disc sander to round out those ends. The final press fit, I like to just scrape that saddle by hand with a razor blade. We're really aiming for a beautiful press fit. No tightness, no looseness.